Hi, my name is Virginia Zeman, and I would like to introduce myself. I will be your student AP Calculus AB teacher this year. So I'd like to start with a little bit about myself. I grew up in Palos Heights, Illinois. I went to Marist High School in Chicago. After that, I attended the University of Illinois in Champaign, where I majored in math and I minored in secondary ed. After graduation, I immediately started working at Lake Park, and I have been here for the past 10 years. Over that course of time, I have taught geometry, Algebra 2, Pre-Calculus, and AP Calculus AB. While I've been at Lake Park, I also received a master's in mathematics from Governor State University. And a fun fact about myself, my husband and I are expecting a baby girl in November. So we are really excited about that. But as with this entire school year, there's a lot of unknowns. Someone will be taking over for me around November. I am not sure who it is yet, but like I said, a lot of unknowns. We don't know if we're going to be remote learning. We don't know in person. I'm not sure who will be taking over for me, but we will definitely get through it together. So I'd like to take this opportunity to share my screen to tell you a little bit more about our AP Calculus AB course. Here's what a typical class will look like during remote learning for AP Calculus AB. It will start on Google Classroom. Each day on Google Classroom, I'm going to post a detailed agenda for the day that contains links to, everything your student will need. They can start first by clicking on the Zoom link so they can join our virtual class. We will start class by going over the homework. I will post the answer key and they can check their answers and ask questions. They can either verbally ask these questions or they can type them out in the chat. Then we'll move on to the notes portion of the lesson. The notes will be pre-recorded videos that are posted on YouTube. So students will be able to leave the Zoom to go to YouTube and watch the video. The reason we're allowing them to leave the Zoom is because we know internet can kind of be shoddy if they have too many things open on their computer at once. So that's why we're allowing them to leave. And also they're pre-recorded videos for a few reasons. We know if we were teaching live, we may have technical difficulties. There may be lag time. A lot of times Zooms freeze up when someone's talking. So that way these video notes, they just go smoothly. They're all on YouTube. And since we are doing the video notes, students can always pause and come back to the Zoom and ask a question if they have one. They can always rewind if they were, struggling with an example or it didn't quite make sense. They can rewind and watch it again. Also, if they're absent, these videos are on YouTube for them to watch at their convenience. So we really think these will be a helpful resource to our students. After they watch the video, students are expected to come back on the Zoom call. And again, they can ask questions at any point. But when they return, then we will start the homework. And I gave our students our survey and asked them if they would prefer to work on homework independently or in groups. If they said they would work in groups, then I will put them into breakout rooms so they can work in those groups. The last part of class will be submitting the notes and the homework. Students can take a picture of their notes and homework and then upload those onto Google Classroom by the start of class the next day. A little bit more detail about homework and notes, specifically how I'm going to grade it. Each assignment is going to be worth 6 points. There's going to be 1 point for taking notes and 5 points for taking homework. So to get full credit for the notes portion, all the students have to do is watch the video and copy down all the details that are written in the video. And this is kind of an all or nothing point. You either take all of the notes to get the 1 point, or if you only complete half the notes or don't do them at all, you will lose that point. And then for the homework 5 points, I just ask that students reasonably attempt every problem. All the problems don't have to be correct. They just have to try all the problems. So they would lose points if they started to skip any problems or only did half the problems. So if there's a problem that is just too difficult for them to even start, they can't write down anything, that's when they should email me for help and I can give them a hint so they can start that problem and then get full credit for the homework. One thing to point out, late homework is not going to be accepted. And the reason is that math builds on itself. We learn a little bit every day, so we should practice a little bit every day. I've noticed before when I've accepted late homework, students have a tendency to push it off. It piles up. It gets really stressful, and it's really hard to kind of dig themselves out of that hole. So this policy is really for their own good. There is an exception to this policy. I do know that math might not always be their number one priority. So if they have an emergency, they don't feel good, if they don't understand part of an assignment, maybe they got home late from a basketball game or work last night, or maybe they were writing a paper in another class or studying for a really important test. I understand that these cases come up. If they need extra time, I just ask that they email me before 7:30 a.m. on the due date. And just ask for an extension. They can say something like, hey, Mrs. Zeman, I was studying for a history test last night. I didn't have time to get to the math homework. Can I have an extra day? I'm usually pretty lenient with this. I just ask that we communicate, especially during this remote learning time. I think that communication is key, and that way I know how to best help your student. If they need extra help, I can set that up. If they just need an extra day to kind of get things back on track, I will give that to them. Here's some information about the websites and technology I'm going to be using. I will update grades on Home Access Center, so hopefully you are familiar with this website. If your student has gone to Lake Park their entire high school career, it's the same website we've always been using. So I will be updating grades daily, so you can look at it and see, oh, my student got 6 out of 6 on their homework. That's great. They did everything correct. If maybe they got 5 out of 6, maybe that meant that they skipped a problem or didn't submit their notes or something like that. So if you ever have a question, you can ask me or you can ask your student. I try to include comments on Google Classroom, if I don't give them 100% for a homework assignment. If I give them a 5 out of 6, I try to say why, hey, you skipped number 10, something like that, just so we're all on the same page. Another piece of technology I'm going to be using is Google Classroom. Again, it's going to be our home base. That is where all the daily agendas will be posted, as well as all the links and handouts. It will be helpful if your student has this app on their phone, just so it's easier to submit homework. And then again, we'll be using Zoom for our virtual classes. Let's talk a little bit about getting extra help. Sometimes AP Calculus is just a harder math class than the ones they've taken before. So your student may have not needed any extra help in math up until now. Sometimes it's kind of the turning point where they really need extra help. So the best way to get help is to email me at vzeman@lphs.org. I can respond when I have time during the day. I will have designated times for helping students that are before and after school. And students can email me with questions at any point, and I can respond if I have time, or I will respond either before and after school during these time slots. It'll be most days, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday from 7:30 to 8 in the morning, or after school from 3:15 to 3:30. Wednesdays, we have a little bit of a different schedule. I'm only going to be available after school on Wednesday from 3:10 to 3:30. And I just ask that they, email me specific questions, hey, I'm struggling with number 4. They could even take a picture of the work they have and say, I got this far and I'm struggling on what to do next. Or if they're really struggling, they can request a video chat to be set up. I can set up a Zoom or a Google Meets, so I can walk them through something step by step. We also have virtual math tutoring from Lake Park math teachers, just like we would if we were in school. There are math teachers every period of the day. However, not all of our math teachers know calculus. So really, our calculus students shouldn't go any period of the day. They could go first period. I'll be the teacher there during first period, or third period and sixth period are other calculus teachers. So they're a little bit limited on times that they can get help before or after school, first, third, or sixth period. And if they're doing this virtual math tutoring, the links are available on the Student Launchpad. It's a link to a Google Meet. They can click on it and it will bring them to math tutoring where that teacher is and they can help. I also suggest that they work together with other classmates. Again, sometimes this is just a harder subject than the other ones they have taken, so that has usually been helpful in the past. I hope you found this video helpful. If you have questions, concerns at any point in the year, again, feel free to reach out to me. Please email me at vzeman@lphs.org. I hope we can work together to make this a successful school year for our students. Have a great night. Thanks.